Hello everybody and welcome to my Call of Duty World War II review video. Good news is I've managed to figure out how to do some enhancing and slow motion clips for this video, so it's going to be my best edited video that I've ever uploaded to this date. The first issue I have with this game is the inherent glitches. See example A. Yeah. Anyway, other than the glitches, how's the gameplay? Well, let's start with the campaign. The cutscenes look really good. The game has clearly made some enhancements over Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and prior ones beforehand, which I have a funny feeling were all running on the same engine ever since Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which came out in 2007. It's now a decade old. However, this game does feel as though it is genuinely made some improvements. The facial animations look fantastic, the weather effects look fantastic, and the animation quality in general is pretty fantastic. However, this is where I'm going to take issues with the campaign. Issue 1. It revolves around just one group of people, which is great. I mean, in a way it manages to focus more on the individuals in this squad than it does throughout an entire army, or by making one person look like a super soldier like it has done in the previous games. In this case, however, it's sort of gone too far the other way. When they advertised Call of Duty World War II, they said that they were going to be, quote, going back to their roots, although this seems more though that they've gone too far back. I was expecting more of a World at War kind of feel, but what we ended up with was, well, I can't even say it was a early Call of Duty game. The early games, such as Call of Duty Finest Hour, which was the first game released on the PlayStation, I believe, Call of Duty 2 Big Red One, which was the second game for consoles, which I still have on my PS2 and I love playing it. Call of Duty 2 on the PC. The examples of these games, with the exception of Big Red One, allowed you to play as several factions or several countries. The Americans, the Brits, the Russians, all in their own respective theatres of war. For example, in Call of Duty 2, you can play as the Russians. The first few missions are in Stalingrad. It's fantastic. And I highly recommend buying the game even now, because with the settings cranked up, which won't be too difficult because it's quite an old game, it actually looks really good. I mean, I have a pretty dogshit PC, but nevertheless I have a Steam account and do occasionally decide to play games on there. The only reason that I haven't run my YouTube channel from there is because, as I said, it's a bit dogshit. So I stick to my console instead, but that's my decision. Even if you have a terrible PC, it's still worth picking up Call of Duty 2, in my personal opinion. The missions are varied. The mission variety is pretty much varied. There are missions where you get to fly in a bomber, drive a tank, and so on. Although they've done exactly the same in this game. Most of the scenes in this first mission on the D-Day landings are stolen straight from Saving Private Ryan, which in and of itself was basically the influence of the first ever Call of Duty franchise, made under Steven Spielberg. As we can see here, man without a leg, check. People running out of landing craft on fire, check. Sergeant or lieutenant or whatever the hell he is, shouting at you, check. Perfectly dismembered people on the beach, check. Although I will admit, it does look pretty impressive. So the next issue. The campaign is too short. I haven't even finished the campaign yet, and I've already found out that the mission after France, which was the last one I've uploaded, is halfway through the campaign. Which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Call of Duty Big Red 1 and Call of Duty 2 will take you, I would guess, around 6-7 hours. If you want to replay them on a hardened difficulty, that's of course up to you, then maybe 8 hours, and so on and so forth. This game, however, probably about 5.5 hours. 5 hours. It's not long enough. And on top of that, you have to bear in mind that there are groups of people who seem to think that a shorter campaign is fine because online is where Call of Duty has always been at. This isn't the case. Those of you who played Call of Duty Modern Warfare and games beforehand and Call of Duty World at War will fondly remember the campaigns, or at least I do. Any of the games older than that, the campaigns, though they didn't go into a lot of information about your character or any of the characters that you were with, the actual act of fighting through the war was fantastic. The last good example of a mixture of these two things, both character development and the surrounding period, would have been Call of Duty Black Ops. but its whole Cold War thing was kind of overshadowed by the actual story that lay beneath the surface. So let's carry on. Most people are going to buy this game not for the campaign, I mean, especially if they're modern Call of Duty players, but for the actual online. This is fine. This is a statement of the times. I mean, compared to most Call of Duty players nowadays, I'm actually quite old. And I'm not that old. But each to their own at the end of the day. The gunplay itself, in the campaign and online, feels clunky, but in a good way. It feels realistic. You're not running off the walls, you're not doing all that shit. As Sledgehammer said, this is boots on the ground gameplay. As a matter of fact, they've never bloody shut up about it. They kept shoving it down our throats. The weapons, they feel alright, I suppose. I mean, they could certainly be better. All in all, I think if you enjoyed the campaign previously, then it may be worth playing. I mean, I'm going to finish playing the campaign at some point, but I'm not going to rush out to do it, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, that's the campaign. Let's take a look at the multiplayer. But first, yeah, that's right, there's more glitches. I think this needs to be looked at in slow motion. So, the multiplayer, what have they changed in this regard? Nothing at all. They've just scratched off the modern seats. They haven't even repainted the game into a Call of Duty scheme. What they have done is scratched off the modern paintwork to reveal the World War II paint that was beneath from the previous games, and they have changed nothing! The gunplay is exactly the same, apart from the wall running and shit, which, as I said, they've taken out. It's functional. If you like Call of Duty, if you like the older games, then I will always recommend, you know, if you like the older games, then it's worth having a look at. Although I won't be going into zombies mode in this video specifically, by which I mean there won't be any footage of it, zombies mode is good. I mean, if you love zombies, then it may just be worth getting this game for zombies mode, although bearing in mind there's only one map at the moment, not counting the prologue. So you will have to buy DLC in order to get the extra maps, which I think is a bit scummy, but hey, Call of Duty, what do you expect? AAA gaming, the future, apparently. So, we don't have power-ups like we did in Infinite Warfare. Instead, it's back to kill streaks, running around with an M1 Garand, or your equivalent, whichever you fancy. There are now 5 different quote-unquote, well, I'm going to refer to them as classes to choose from. You have Infantry, Paratrooper, Expenditary, Armoured, and Mountain. Each of these have their own specific relevances. Mountain is more or less designed to be a sniper, Expenditary is a shotgunner, Armoured is light machine gun, Infantry is a rifle, as you would expect, and Paratrooper is submachine guns, although you can equip whichever weapon you feel like on said class, and use the abilities that that class provides to your advantage. The Paratrooper, for example, can stick a suppressor onto a submachine gun. As I said, you can equip other weapons other than submachine guns, but the silencer is only limited to that specific class of weapon. Same goes with the infantry class and their bayonets. You can fit a bayonet to any rifle on the, on the assumption that it is actually a rifle. You can also use submachine guns, light machine guns, and sniper rifles, but you won't be able to fit bayonets to those. Gameplay is exactly the same. It hasn't changed that much at all. Run around, get kills, earn points. Although they have now decided to add loot boxes. Again, same with the zombies. This is not something I have footage of, although it definitely needs to be talked about. The loot box culture in this game is scummy, and I mean scummy. There is a hub which has basically just been stolen from Destiny, where you can open up loot boxes and other people can watch. This gives you points to unlock something to do with your abilities. I don't know. It's a load of bollocks. Basically, you open up loot boxes, other people can watch and they get rewarded for it. It's absolute horseshit. Thankfully, the boxes are not buyable yet, although I believe that will get fixed in, well, when I say fixed, I mean broken, in the next couple of days, being released either tomorrow or Wednesday. well, when you watch this, it will be tomorrow. So it's either today or tomorrow. Basically, the whole situation is just and I don't like it. So, what would I give this game if I was to give it a mark out of 10? I would give this game a 6. Actually, no, that's a bit harsh. I would give it a 7. It does go back to World War II, as we'd hoped, although this was more sort of a knee-jerk reaction, unfortunately, due to the success of Battlefield 1, which I've recently reinstalled. Footage up on the channel yesterday, by the way, for the 100th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, which I thought needed to be talked about, but that's literally another video, which will be down below, that you can have a look at. Nevertheless, I feel this game earns its 7 out of 10 because the gunplay is solid, the graphics, although nothing fantastic, Battlefield 1 still does look better if you play it in 4K, although any game would look better if you played it in 4K, but I think Battlefield just looks better in general. The gameplay is exactly the same. Call of Duty refused to change the formula with the good old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unfortunately, I am now declaring this broken. They need to do something different for a change, and they need to bloody innovate, because at this point I'm getting rather bored. I'm now level 30 something online, and I'm already sick of playing the game. And that's probably with 3 or 4 hours in the playtime online, not counting the playthrough in campaign. I will finish the campaign, I will continue doing the Let's Play videos for that. But in the meantime, if I were you, I would wait for the game to go down in price. So that is a wholehearted 7 out of 10 for Call of Duty World War II. This is the first game review I've ever done. I hope you thought it was amusing, if nothing else, and somewhat informative. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe, like or dislike, I don't really mind. It really does help out the channel. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.